Coming up on the channel today, 5 more tips for collecting and enjoying vinyl coming right up. I did a video a while back near the time the channel started about 5 basic tips for collecting vinyl, and it was a pretty popular video. I will include a link to that video down in the description below if you'd like to check that one out if you haven't seen it yet. If this is your first time on the channel, please by all means go ahead and hit that subscribe button. If you like what we have to say here, give us a like at the very least, because that helps the channel grow. But I personally love the comment section. I love the interaction. And actually, this follow-up video, 5 more tips for collecting and enjoying vinyl, came from comments on the first video. We had some viewers say, I agree with everything that you said, and here's some more. So I started out a new list and said, well, let me go ahead and do 5 more. So a couple of these are crowdsourced, and then some things that I added to it as well. So getting right into the main topic, then this one came from a viewer, and I will add a little bit more on it than what they had in the comments, is number 1, enjoy the hunt. With today's climate and being able to purchase so much readily available online, it's easy just to have an album pop in your head, and I've done this many times myself. And say, I wonder if that's available, and just look on a major online retailer or Discogs or something like that, find a copy and scoop it up. But another thing that that a viewer pointed out that I couldn't agree with more is when you're traveling around, even if you happen to be traveling across your own country or to another country, now that we can a little more free to do that now, just stop and look up and see what record stores are available to you in areas that you've never been before, and just stop in there and take a look. I personally am not a big crate digger. I'm not really good at going into a record store and just digging through every letter of all the sections that they have available, but you never know what you might find if you just walk into a store and you see some LPs displayed up on the wall, or maybe in just in their new arrivals area, and you can get a lot of enjoyment from that. And if nothing else, even if you don't purchase some records everywhere you go, you're more than likely going to have a great conversation with someone that you've never met before and may never see again about music. So number 1, enjoy the hunt. That is a really, really good tip that came from the original video that we did. Number 2, log your collection. Make sure that you have some way to know what you have, because as your collection grows, trust me, this is coming from someone who's done it many, many, many times, you will forget what you have. There is no way that you can remember off the top of your head even 100 LPs that you own, 200, 300, and so on. And as your collection grows, if you love music as much as I do, you will be out in public and see an album and think, oh man, I love that record, buy it and come home only to find out you love it so much you already owned it, and you just haven't spun it in long enough, or you don't have the capacity to remember everything. So what I personally do is just use Google Sheets, because it's a free way to log, make a spreadsheet and log all of your records in there. Many people use the cataloging that's available through Discogs, either on online or their app. There's ups and downs to every way you want to do it, but I firmly believe that logging your collection is a great tip, because it will save you from not only repurchasing records, but maybe filling holes as well. If you're out and about and you look through and say, oh, I own this many records by this artist, oh, and I remember, and now I don't have that one. So that's a good one to take away as well. Another one is, and this is more aimed at the aftermarket side of things, and maybe people who are getting newer into collecting vinyl, take your time purchasing your records. Things get repressed all the time. Yes, there are, as a Prince collector, I can point out many Prince albums that have yet to be repressed, but I can also point out over the past 5 years, Prince records that I never thought would get repressed that have been repressed. As of the shooting of this video, they just now announced the Gold Experience is being reissued on vinyl, which many of us thought would never happen. But even with records that are current or newer pressings, I see all the time on aftermarket Facebook pages and Discogs and so on, things like that come to mind, Daft Punk, Random Access Memories. That's a record that is common, that is going to be in print, but it's so popular that in between print runs, I see it get up, people asking for $300, $400, $500 and getting it now and again on aftermarket websites. And records like that are going to come back into print. They're going to be readily available. So the tip overall is basically just take your time, look and see what's out there, and realize that you don't have to overpay for many, many, many records that are out there. Adjacent to that is tip number 4 for collecting vinyl, of 5 more tips, is know what you're buying. With the vinyl resurgence, there's been many, many, many good things to come about, and there's been some very, very shady things to come about. You have people who are now dealing vinyl who have never dealt vinyl before, who are listing things in dubious condition and grading it way higher. You have this unofficial / bootleg resurgence that's happening now, where you see many, many highly sought after LPs being distributed as new, and they might bury in the comments unofficial, and folks are overpaying for those types of things. As a buyer, as a customer, you are in control. So do not hesitate to send that Discogs seller a question. Don't be, bothersome or pestering someone, but if you are seriously interested in an item, a seller should have no problem sending you the video, the pictures that you're asking for, to answering questions that you have about that, and that goes for, I'm just saying Discogs because it's a major marketplace. Same thing for any brick and mortar store that you might walk into. Any reputable store owner is not going to have any problem answering your questions as a customer about an LP that you might be paying anywhere from $20 to $200 for. You're in control. There are plenty of copies of these records out there somewhere, so know what you're buying. Even use the tools that are available to you, like on social media, all of these Facebook groups. If you post a question in a Facebook group in earnest and say, I'm really, here's a listing, or here's an album I'm interested in, what should I look for? Are you going to get smart Alex in the comment? Yes. Are people going to meme? Are they going to say, let me Google that for you? Yep. But for every one of those that you get, you're going to get 5 or 10 people who want to be helpful, who may even have a copy for sale themselves, who are going to be interested in saying to you, make sure you look for this UPC code, make sure you look for this label, this in the runout. So it's worth using those resources, even though the world is filled with people who are dying to get a zinger off. More people are going to help you than not. So know what you're buying, tip number 4. Last tip that I have in this one here of 5 more tips for collecting and enjoying vinyl, and this part goes toward enjoying more than anything, is play your full records when you're buying them. I personally own many, and actually this was not planned, but I'm looking at this right here. MIA, I believe this is her second record, and when I learned about MIA, I came into this artist because I had heard Paper Planes. I bought this record for Paper Planes, and I made sure when I purchased it to listen to the full album several times, and now the greater majority of that record are favorite songs of mine by MIA. And that's one example that's sitting in front of me. I could think of many, many other LPs that I've bought for 1 or 2 hits, and then listened to the full LP and thought, wow, there's so much more to this artist that I never knew about before. And I can tell you that I've had so many friends of mine say the exact same thing. I bought X artist, X album for X song. And I say, well, yeah, of course, that's what everyone buys it for. And then they say, dude, have you ever heard the rest of that record? There's this great ballad, or there's this great rocker on it. So I can't stress enough how much joy that's brought to my life and other people's lives as well. I see people posting on Facebook. My personal friends tell me about it, that I bought this album for this hit, and I listened to the whole thing, and holy cow, what an album. So that's the 5th one that I have, is really play these full records all the way through. Even if you buy it for the one hit, play it all the way through and see if there's something else that you like on there, because you might find out that you enjoy a lot more of the artist's work than that one hit that you've always known. So that is 5 more tips for collecting and enjoying vinyl. Once again, we have the original video that I'm going to put the link to in the description below. I always say, please hit the subscribe button, please hit the like button. But one thing I always stress is that I love the interaction on the videos, the comments on the videos. And this video is a reason why, because this video came about from you, the viewer, saying, great video, I agree with what you said in there, but here's more things that I do that help me collect and enjoy my vinyl. And that's what kicked off this list. So if you have comments on this or the original video, please, by all means, drop them in the comment section below. Would love to interact with you on that. If you enjoyed this video, please drop a like on it. And as I always say, I appreciate you so much for stopping by. Thanks.